All right, so this is part 3, 2007 Dodge Ram 2500 6.7. Evan's helping, right, buddy? So what I want to look at now is the TRS circuit, the transmission range circuit. So your TIPM, it says it's powered by T41 fuse 10 5 amp. Comes down, it's accept 5.9 because it's 6.7 automatic transmission. Goes down through this connector, goes to the TR1 41 cents transmission range sensor on the transmission. Well, I'm back probing right here on connector 1 pin 2 on the TIPM. Connector 1 pin 2. So connector 1 is the second one up. Pin 2, which is a yellow with a blue tracer, I believe, which I'm probed right there. So it's in park. Show you what we got going on here. Pull the key out, buddy. It's in park. We got 0 volts. Put the key in, buddy. Okay, try to start it. No change. Turn it off. Try to start it again. No change. So now what we're gonna do, push the brake, buddy. Push the brake with your foot. I'm gonna put it in reverse. So it's in reverse, key on. There's your 12 volts roughly. I'm gonna go to neutral. Goes back to 0 volts because your park neutral switch. And then we're gonna go to drive. $12 volts.
Right off the brake.
And then we're going to go to, well, we can go to first, but it don't matter. So, actually, let's put it back in park. Yeah, it's windy as heck again today. Back in park, 0 volts. But what I did notice, you're good. What I did notice is it says fuse 10 5 amp. Well, if you look on this lid, let me pull this probe out. It should be this fuse circuit right here. Well, there's no fuse in there. This is the old TIPM, and the new TIPM has no fuse in there either, even though the diagram shows that. Well, if you look at the schematics, or the fuse block diagram, let me figure where I'm at here. Sits like that. Yeah, fuse. God, sun is fuse 10. If you can see that or not, but that's fuse 10 right there. And on here it says 10, it says 5 amp TRX off-road package sensor, gas engine only. Fuse 10 5 amp TRX off-road package sensor, gas engine only. Right there. Yeah, right there. So, well, this old TIPM doesn't have it, and neither does the new one. But why does the wiring diagram show?
Can I help out?
You know, buddy.
I really want to ride the four-wheeler.
Go ahead. He's got to go ride his four-wheeler again. So, the TRS sensor, fuse 10 5 amp in the TIPM here. So the TIPM here, the TRS fuse 10 5 amp, but there's no fuse in there. We're getting circuitry feedback from this, but I'm gonna have to compare this old one to the new one and see what we get. Sorry about my camera being all over. It's windy, sun's right in my eyes, so I'm trying to do the best I can. All right, let's do one more test with this old Tipham. I got the connector unplugged, same circuit though, 0 volts. Go ahead and turn the key on, buddy. Try to start it. Try to start it. Turn it off. Try to start it. Nothing, right? 0 volts, okay. Now let's do another check here. Push the brake.
Okay.
Go to reverse. There's our 12 volts. Neutral should have 0 volts because it's a heavy 4. 0 volts. And then drive. Drive 12 volts. Try to start it real quick. It's not going to do nothing because we're in drive because of the park neutral switch. But I want to see what the voltage, if it does anything. Try to start it. Nothing. Same thing. So now let's compare this data to the new Tipham and see what we get. Alrighty, so now we got the new Tipham in, just like we did in part 2. I got the TRS transmission range sensor circuit probed. Everything's off. 0 volts. Go, buddy, and try to start it. Crank it over. I'll tell you when to stop. Stop. So there's your 0 volts. I went to actually 0.16. 160 millivolts. So now what we're going to do, push the brake, buddy. It's in reverse. Your 12 volts. Neutral. Try to crank it, buddy. Stop. 0.2 volts and neutral. Put it in drive. 12 volts. It should not crank. Try to crank it. Trying to crank. Okay, nothing. So that's good. So put it back in park. You can let it off the brake. Try to crank it one more time, buddy. Stop. 0.16 volts. So, pretty much the same results. You got some more different millivolts than the other one. But obviously, like I said, in part 2, it does need a Tipham for the cranking. But we still got an issue with it not actually running, whether it's the ECM bad or a software file that's bad in the ECM, or because the Tipham VIN is not programmed in there. That's the issue we're having. We got to get the Tipham VIN program, which it pulls it from the ECM, but it can't because, well, there's no VIN that it says VIN invalid for the ECM. So more to come for this vehicle. Well, we already know this from part 2 of the video, but we go to special function. I'm in the central gateway, which is the Tipham. I go to set VIN. You can use this function to read and write the VIN. It only supports new EC to write the VIN. It says the VIN is not valid because it's a new one, a remanufactured Dorman product. It's all Y's. When I hit OK, I try to write it. It's this VIN that ends in 8736, but it says this function is not supported. Is the VIN right? Yes. But it won't let me write it. And it has to be written in this Tipham, I believe, to communicate. And it's supposed to normally pull it from, so if you go to relearn Tipham VIN, it'll normally pull it from the engine computer. The purpose is to erase the totally integrated power Tipham program status, which will force the Tipham to relearn the current VIN from the engine controller. Well, it's not, it'll try to do it, but it won't pull it because it's not working. The condition's not correct. Probably because we can't find a VIN in the actual in the actual ECM, whether it's due to a program that's aftermarket on this controller ECM, or something's wrong with the ECM. But if you go to read codes in the central gateway /TIPM, vehicle configuration not program B222 Charlie. So yeah, so again, more troubleshooting, figure out how we can get this VIN written and troubleshoot more to the ECM. That's it for now. Well, I want to add one other thing. I'm back into the ECM, same status, no codes, can't read live data, can't read VIN, but I want to read the mode 9 or ECU information. It says, just in case we need this data for later, I was looking it up in part 3 of my video, and this is where I got that data from. Model year 2018, that's not correct, but there's the ECU part numbers, software version, hardware version, serial number, ECU origin, supplier IDs, Cummins, variant ID, diagnostic version, reprogram and temp counter says 0, software version, major, middle, minor, software boot part number. So just more information that may help us. So that's some more information I was just in there. Like I said, the read codes thing, no codes. If I go to ECU configure information, usually it shows me data what it has, and this says not supported by this vehicle. Same thing with the freeze frame. Well, I guess there's not going to be any freeze frame because, well, there's no codes, so there won't be any freeze frame data. But I'll show you what it says here once it pulls up. Yeah, it finally pulled up. It says this selected function is not supported, but you can go to like active tests, and like I can turn no data. Let me see if I turn the lift pump relay on. So the actuator's running. If I can hear it or not. The other day I did this, I thought I could, but no. Now it says the selected function is not supported by the ECU. The other day when I wasn't filming, I could have sworn this thing would turn on. It would let me do it. But now it's not. Which makes sense because we have major issues with this ECM. So if I do the wait to start lamp driver output, and then I hit on, nothing comes up on the dash for the wait to start light. And then it says this function is not supported by the ECU. So if we go into, I'm still in the ECM, we go to special function now. Go to check PCM VIN. You can use this function to read and write the VIN. We were in a different spot. We were in set VIN in the ECM and other videos I did with this vehicle. The VIN is not valid, press OK to modify it. So it's this VIN here. Try to write it. Is this correct? Yes. And it's clear as bad. And then it says it fails. VIN write failed. And since I'm still in the ECM, I can hit reset ECU. I believe I've done this in other videos for this, but it still doesn't. ECU will be reset. ECU has been reset. Yeah, I've done this in other videos. Cycle the ignition, check the VIN, try to write it, but it doesn't ever let me write it. I don't know if it's because there's something wrong with this actual ECM, which I believe, or there's an actual, or it's the performance tune they have on this thing, which we don't know what it is. Let's see what it shows here. VIN write failed. Yeah, same thing. So we definitely got to do some more troubleshooting. Well, since I'm in here, I might as well do some more stuff. Carb readiness status for the ECM. This procedure will display the once per trip and comprehensive component monitors that are applicable to the vehicle. And it comes up with a no-com. No-com. So if I go to like activate, deactivate vehicle features, this will feature allow to enable or disable certain PCM configuration. Normally I can do this on these, you know, Mopar vehicles, but it says this function is not supported. Been getting that a lot, that message, or a message, no com message. So like if I reset the NOx absorber counters, it'll say it's not supported, which I haven't found anything it lets me do really. So is that because though the ECM's bad, or is it because it's got this aftermarket tune on it? So is there anything else we could try to do? Look at this. I don't want to do that. See if there's anything else that'll let me try to communicate. This function will activate or deactivate the auxiliary field kit, filter kit. Go ahead, activate. Failed to activate the auxiliary fuel filter kit. Please try again. So I get a lot of failures on all this stuff. Reset after trim and trip. This is the last one. Basically, yeah, you can use this routine to reset the after treatment trip information. When routine is completed, turn the ignition off for 10 seconds. See if it even lets us do anything. Failed to read into, well, of course, because it ain't running. Let's view reset duty cycle accumulators. See if there's anything there. Use this function to view or reset the duty cycle accumulators. The engine must be stopped. Okay, we are. Supported. It's not supported. So yeah, definitely we need to do some more troubleshooting. So that'll be it for now.